Hello and welcome to the Tell Not Show. I'm your host, Kirsha Fox, author of the Deception and Justice series. I am a homeschooling mom, gamer, reader, and fantasy author. My co-host, Julie J.K. Allen, can't join us tonight, but I'm excited to introduce our guest, James Nineus Stadig. He was born and raised in New England, where he spent most of his childhood running around in the woods and weaving stories. Growing up, he was surrounded by books and became compelled to craft his own. Nowadays, he can be found spending time in his garden or drinking a boiling hot cup of coffee. He finds inspiration for his stories in mythology, his Scandinavian heritage, and his queer community. Welcome, James. So, James, tell us about your writing journey. When did you start writing and why?
Well, I started writing around the age of 8 years old. Um, Writing's always been a way for me to really explore more about myself and the world around me. I've always been in love with the idea of just having a better understanding and feeling for the world as it is and just exploring it to the furthest I can take it.
That's a really good answer. I like that. What genres are you drawn to?
I'm drawn mostly to fantasy, paranormal, sci-fi. I'm not really good when it comes to like historical or anything like that. I don't like things too close to home.
I have a lot of respect for people who can do historical because there's like so many details to avoid anachronisms and all of that. It's amazing to me when people pull it off successfully. That being said, I'm also a fantasy author, and I feel like history's very sad. I'm like, I want to do something a little different or play with it to make my own world.
Absolutely.
That being said, I think we draw from the real world with everything. You in particular are drawn to mythology, right?
Yes, I am very drawn to mythology. Um, it's one of the things that I really look to when I'm doing any kind of writing, any kind of research into things. Norse mythology is something I absolutely love. I'm Swedish American, so I grew up hearing a lot of different stories of Norse myths, whether carried on through legends of ancestors before or just in general, such as like Thor and Loki and all of that. It's really important to me to kind of carry on the cultural significance of it
Mm-hmm.
in my own works, whether that be creating a pantheon for a fantasy book or anything like that, because there's so much about it that just is very close to my heart.
Mm-hmm. One particular thing I love about Norse mythology is kind of the humor. I feel
Hmm.
like a lot of pantheons are very dry and very serious, but when you actually study like Norse mythology, it's like that's really funny. Like
Oh, it
they have a
is.
lot of humor in their stories. It's not serious business all the time.
No, no, that's one of the things I love about it is, it's very real to how they looked at the leaders of their day, of their time. And if you look at mythology through the scope of they didn't literally believe all these things. They were just coming up for how best to understand the gods, how to best understand the world around them. They were really comparing the leaders that they knew of to the gods that they thought they understood.
Hmm, hmm.
And it's a really great thing to bring into, say, for me, my book of Rebels and Gods, with how do the people of that world look at the gods and how do they look at the leaders of their day and age.
Can you tell me a little bit about your writing process? How do you go from like idea to finished draft?
Um, it's kind of funny. They just pop up in my head, and I get like this one itty bitty inkling. Like East Thomas came about because I had the idea. Well, what if I gave my characters therapy? So I wrote the entire thing from a therapist's perspective, and to take, all those fun years and put them into good work.
That's an interesting theme to explore. I kind of laughed when you said it because I think if a lot of characters from other authors I know started getting therapy, the books would get really short.
I mean, it is pretty short.
Okay, well, fair point then. Because a lot of book plots kind of arise from a dysfunction and learning how to work through that dysfunction and growing as a character. And a lot of times they decide to sort of do it alone and without help, or until they realize that they do need help. So,
Yeah. And I explore a lot of things with that, how different people deal with therapy, how one particular patient, how she kind of runs from any kind of help.
mhm.
And we get to see how, like, the people you think you can trust are the ones you should really look out for. And it's a lot of fun looking at things from what's supposed to be a healing perspective
Mhm.
and really taking into grasp, even if you have a lot of training, even if you have a lot of know-how, you're not prepared for every little thing.
I'm inclined to agree with that. I took a lot of psychology in college and I absolutely loved it. But there was one case story that just like absolutely broke me. Like I heard it and I was like, I have no words for that. Like, and I was like, maybe this field isn't quite what I'm going for.
Yeah, a hard field.
It is. It is. Humans are very complex, and we find all kinds of really fun ways to get a little bit broken or a lot broken.
That we do.
Yeah. So that's a really cool premise. So it sounds like you begin with like more plot, or do you begin with more characters?
It really varies. Sometimes I come up with a plot point and I just expand from there.
Mm-hmm.
Other times a character will pop up for me
Mm-hmm.
first. Um, I've had situations where I have like this very main character and I don't know what the hell they're going to do. They're gonna do something, and the story just evolves from what their natural character arc would be.
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of the times it's just a question. It's like, what happens if you give characters therapy? What happens if there's a orchard, which is supposed to be a place full of food and health and wonder, is killing you?
Hmm. All right. You start with a question. That's pretty cool. For you, what is the most important part of writing?
The discovery process.
The discovery. Yes. A lot of what we call pantsers, you know, pantser writer. They love discovering the story for themselves, and like it's like they're just watching it play out.
Absolutely. It's like I've been
Mhm.
given this little window into a whole world, and I'm just sitting there taking as many notes as I can.
Mhm. I'm definitely a plotter myself, but sometimes you get a character who's just talking, and telling you all about their adventures, and you're like, "Oh wow, this is really good. I should write. I should write this down." Yeah.
Absolutely.
Sometimes you get those characters who are just so very alive to you. All right.
Absolutely. Those are some of the best ones.
Mm-hmm. Well, I feel like those are the ones that you have the most fun with. Sometimes I've read books and I felt like the author was just trying to get it done. Like maybe they
Yes,
had a deadline and they needed to fill the space and they needed to get words on the page, or they had a formula to follow. And then there's other books when you read and you're like, I think the author really enjoyed their own story quite a lot, you know.
oh yeah, you can definitely tell when you're reading a story if it's for the fun or if it's to get it done.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Yeah. Fortunately, as authors, I feel like we have to balance between the two.
Yeah,
Because when you do it for work, when you do it for money, when you do it for anything other than just fun, hobby, like you have to give yourself deadlines and stick to a schedule, or do the best you can to get your butt in the seat writing.
Absolutely. I mean, that's part of what finding what you love about it
Mm-hmm.
and committing yourself to writing at least a little bit every day does for you. Because the
Mm-hmm.
more you're willing to work on a project and the more you're willing to rediscover what you love about it,
Yeah,
the more you're going to keep that fire alive.
absolutely. That's really, really important to have your reason why. Do you have a favorite author and what's something you think they do very well?
Oh, geez, that's tricky because I like a lot of different authors for different things. I love Douglas Adams for his sense of wit and his humor
Mm-hmm.
that he has in Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, and I love being able to translate that in my own way in my books because I'm a very dry and sarcastic person, and I
Mm-hmm.
love having that pop up here and there. I love, oh God, actually, I have it right
Humor that
here.
hits you out of nowhere just is so incredible.
Yeah, I had N.K. Jemisin does a
Mm-hmm.
beautiful job of really throwing you into a story and making you absolutely care about it in every vivid way. And I love the way that she like just really hammers you into the foundation of it. So you're experiencing everything, every little brick, every little stone climbing up to the climax of the story.
Mm-hmm.
And it's gorgeous and wonderful. And you don't really get a lot of that with books, especially when they're written in second person, as this is.
Mm-hmm.
And the ability to really like get all of that in a second person is mind-boggling to me because I've tried writing second person and it is so completely frustrating.
Mm. Do you write primarily first person?
I actually write a lot of third person.
Yeah, that's my favorite as well.
I'm trying to write this one series where all like the complete main characters are in first person, and everybody who's kind of like a secondary in that universe is third person. It's very tricky to balance.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because you have to pay attention when you're writing it of which character are you writing and what are they perceiving and how are they perceiving. Yeah, to switch up your whole perspective mid book. Yeah. Although I have seen other authors do that, and as a reader, it kind of it flows, you know, and it keeps
Yeah,
it very clear who's the main character.
it does.
Hmm. All right. Yeah. Thank you for sharing those authors. Um, that sounds like it's worth looking into. I love when an author can make their characters breathe for you when you're there with them, taking every step along the way, right next to them, experiencing what it is like to be them. You know, I think
Absolutely.
that's I think that's my favorite part of reading. Really, is to go somewhere else and live another life for a time, and to get a different perspective on how things could be.
Absolutely. No, I mean, that's, I think, the most important part of writing
Hmm.
is you want to bring your reader into the story. You want them to feel as if they are a part of it. They're experiencing what your character's experiencing.
Hmm.
And if you're not able to do that, you need to come up with another reason to bring them in and to get them to care.
That's a really hard part, actually, is getting your reader to care about
Yep.
about the character and what happens to them. Because I often have read stories and I'm just like grimacing, like, ah, I don't care about your little problems here. Get therapy.
Yeah. No, seriously.
One of my personal mantras is that a problem a character can walk away from is a book that a reader is going to walk away from.
Absolutely.
Yes. So I've been really careful not to let my characters like have a choice and whether or not they can walk away from this, or if they can, give them a motivation why they can't, why they
Yeah,
feel they can't. Tricky, this crafting, and yet it's our favorite thing.
it is, but I think the challenge is part of the reason why we enjoy it.
Hmm. Yes, I think so. So, what would you say you've learned in the writing process? Something that you didn't know when you first started out at the tender age of 8. No, I imagine in your adult life, when you're
Yeah,
sat down, you're like, what, I'm going to actually write a book. What's something you've learned?
not to take criticism so harshly
Oh goodness, yes.
because you can get so personal with criticism. And like it is something that a lot of people talk about, but we do have to admit so many of us take it so harshly.
Hmm.
And it's one of those things of, well, oh, you're attacking my writing, which means you're attacking me.
Hmm.
No,
Hmm.
that's not the case at all. It is, don't look at it as an attack. Look at it as the polishing process. You're taking a lump of coal and turning
Hmm.
it into a diamond.
Yes.
Not everything is going to be helpful, but
Hmm.
there's going to be a lot of things in there that will help turn this rough draft, this lump of coal,
Hmm.
into a shining diamond. And if you're not shining, if you're not where you feel confident and okay with yourself, then you should be holding back and you should keep going at it, keep revising, because the stronger your revision, the stronger you use those criticisms to develop your story,
Hmm.
the better off you're going to be.
Yes. I That is a very important bit of wisdom that you shared with us. Absolutely. I've met many authors who unfortunately, I offended a bit with my criticisms, trying to help obviously, because, you would want someone to tell you if your writing was bad.
Yeah,
Or if there was something that you could do better or something that you could work on. I think that that's what takes you from good to better to even better, to closer to mastery, is being willing to improve, being willing to change. If you clam up and be like, how dare you attack my book and my book babies and myself, like you're never
yeah,
going to improve. You're just going to stay exactly at the level you're at, and you're going to put out a book that could have been a lot better.
yeah. And I think the bigger issue is to ask, why are you feeling defensive?
Hmm.
Why does them commenting on this hurt you as a person? Because
Yes.
the more you look into that, the more you're going to realize, oh, there's this that's going on, or I myself need to work on this.
Yes. Yes. I think that
And
the
yeah,
therapist in you is showing, the therapy again, when you
I'm
realize that
not
other
even a
people's are
therapist.
mirrors. When other people are mirrors to you and they show you something you don't like, usually you turn around and see something about yourself that you don't like and need to work on, right?
Absolutely. I mean, that's just
Yes.
human nature.
It is human nature but it is so hard to recognize that in yourself and be like, okay, I'm actually
Yeah.
going to work on this, and not try to change other people instead. Yeah.
I mean, I purposely, when I'm looking for like beta readers or
Hmm.
critiquers or anything like that, I'm looking specifically for people who are going to be very blunt in their opinions
Hmm.
because I don't want you to read my writing and go, oh my goodness, another masterpiece. I love it. There's only a couple things here and there. No, tear it to pieces.
Rip it to pieces, shred it. Yes.
Make me work for it,
Mhm.
please.
No, I absolutely have a beta reader who's very, very sweet, and she's very loving, and she gives me almost nothing to work with. I appreciate her compliments. I really do. But I much prefer the people who tell me as it is and give me that kind of criticism. It's
Absolutely.
actually pretty dangerous, I think, when someone gets so big in in prestige that people start becoming yes men to them.
Yep.
It's happened to a lot of like directors where, or even authors I've seen where their books got so big, their series got so popular that they could write whatever they want, and they stopped listening so much to their editors, the people, or the people around them saying, no, you can't do that. And once they got their way, the quality of their art started going down.
Yep. No, it's super important to have like that, those group of people that you trust completely
Hmm.
to be honest and to shred you into bits when you need it.
Absolutely. Do not massage the ego here. This is not the time or
No,
place.
creativity is the wrong place to be in if you want to massage your ego.
Hmm. All right. So I feel like we've kind of gone over this next question, but I'm going to ask it anyway in case you want to answer it differently.
Yep.
But if you could tell an author one new, or if you could tell a new author one thing, what would it be?
Do not underestimate the industry.
Uh huh.
It, if you're looking to self-publish, it can seem really straightforward. Just go in, write the book, get a cover, and hit publish.
Mm-hmm.
You think all you got to do is put out like a couple of posts here and there, and boom, you're an instant New York Times bestseller. No,
Another hard
there's
lesson.
so much work to be done. There's so much to do, and it's half the battle is uncovering what exactly you need to do,
Mm-hmm.
because it looks different for every single author, because no
Does.
author's journey is exactly the same.
Mm-hmm. Yes, even your marketing is going to change depending on your genre and what kind of audience you're trying to reach. Where do
Mhm.
they hang out? Where are they going to see your content? And then also your own life circumstances. How often can you put out content? Do you need to hire someone to help you, or can you do it all yourself? Yes, absolutely. When I published my first book, I had very little idea of what I was getting into.
Yeah,
You kind of have this pie in the sky idea that you're going to hit publish and people are going to flock to your book and it'll be great, you know, money
if
coming in. No.
I wish it was like that, but I mean,
Yeah.
you could publish 5 books and only make like $100 off of all of it.
You're making money? Like $800?
Oh, no, 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 no. That's definitely not a net positive.
Yes, it's not. Yes. I feel like it's the not lucky, but if you want to break even in this business, you have to hustle even just to break even. Yes.
It's a marathon.
It is. It is. Uh-huh. Yeah. Yeah, so many hard lessons that you learn along the way for sure.
Yeah,
Yes, this is not for the faint of heart.
no, no, it is not.
All right. How do you make time for writing?
I am a stay-at-home dad,
Mm-hmm.
and especially during the summer, I get absolutely next to no time for writing.
Mm-hmm.
When it comes to the school year, that's when I can get everything done.
Mm-hmm.
I usually carve out, once I drop the kids off at the bus, a couple of hours just to sit down and crack into it, whether I'm doing edits or I'm putting 500 words into my next project.
Mm-hmm.
I'm making sure I have a daily goal to hit, because if I don't have a daily goal, I'm not going to hit it. I'm
Mm-hmm.
not going to keep trying to strive for that. And another important thing is to not just have that daily goal for myself, but have accountability partners,
Mm-hmm.
other authors who are writing around the same time as you are, and make sure that you're either, I don't know, sprinting together or saying, hey, I'm going to be working from, say, 9 a.m. to lunchtime. Can somebody please check in on me and make sure that I get all my stuff done?
Mm-hmm.
Because, yeah, writing can absolutely be lonely. but it is up to you whether it's communal or not.
Yes. Yes, I think it's really important to understand your needs and
Mhm.
find a group that can work with you on that. And in that way you're helping others as well, like by being that for them.
Absolutely.
Yes. You absolutely have to find your tribe, find your group, find people who resonate with you and understand your goals and what you're going for.
Oh, completely. I challenge anybody who listens to this or watches this to just find your people and really make sure that you guys all stick together and keep each other accountable because that's the only way we as people, as writers, can get through life.
Hmm.
People are social creatures. We have to have some kind of accountability to make it onto the next challenge.
Hmm. Well, and it comes with a multitude of benefits as well. The other authors are going to be the ones who are saying, "Hey, we're doing this event. Do you want to come along? Can you be there? Hey, I met this person," or "Hey, I discovered this service," or "I'm putting an order for flyers. Do you want me to throw my yours in, so that we get better shipping?"
Really,
um,
I mean, that's
those are your
on
friends. Those.
it's a beautiful thing because you guys can share resources, you guys can share tips, you can talk about the frustrations of the industry together because it is frustrating.
It is. It is. Yes.
It's
So yeah,
merciless.
trades have been a kind of a lifesaver for me in that way. I'm like, oh, you can spray my book edges because you're really good at that, and I'll do an edit for you, or
Yeah,
I'll do a beta reader for you, and you can help me with formatting, that kind of thing. So yes, it's really really important so that you're not doing it all by yourself because that's not really the path to success.
yeah.
All right. What would you say is your favorite part of writing?
Um, I would have to go back to the discovery, to the research portion of it, because the things that you find out while you're writing, while you're digging into it,
Mhm.
is some of the obscure things that you uncover can just make your whole day. Or even just finding the most ridiculous typos.
Yes.
I actually used a typo as the name of a mafia in my next upcoming book.
Are you able to tell us the name?
Of the book or the mafia?
The Mafia
Adney.
Acme. Okay.
I misspelled and added an E at the back of it, and I'm like,
Okay.
okay, you know what? I need a name for the mafia. This is great. I'll just call it the Adney Mafia. Fantastic.
I have a separate doc that's just like name ideas, and it can be weird words smashed together, because it's
Yep.
going to say different kinds of plants that I like the name of. Oh, I saw a waiter. I like your name. It's mine now. Uh, inspiration is everywhere, isn't it?
It is. It absolutely is.
Hmm. Can you give us an example of a time when you uncovered something that just delighted your soul?
Oh goodness. Back when I was doing research for of Rebels and Gods, I was getting into the background of my main character's uncle, Asvin.
Hmm.
And I was trying to figure out how exactly best to portray him because in the book he's the second born son of an immortal emperor. Feels very lackluster, feels very much like where the hell is my place in the world? And so I had to do a lot of research into the Roman Empire because a good chunk of this empire is based off of the Roman Empire,
Hmm.
uh, specifically when they were colonizing modern day Britain. Really fun
Hmm.
stuff right there. I could go off on that right now, but I could go off on that in a whole separate thing. But one of the great things was finding about lupinare, which I don't know if you would have ever known about this, but they are what the Romans understood as brothels. And trying to figure out how to make this character feel like he was more carefree than he is, and having like that pop up in the background as, oh, I could have him visit one of these.
Mm-hmm.
And only those who would actually do the research would know about this little portion. That was a lot of fun. Very hysterical, at least to
Mm-hmm.
me while I was in the middle of research. It was
That'll
like,
get a
yeah.
character out of their shell.
Um,
See whole different facets of them.
oh yeah. Another part was in what was it? When I was developing for the same book, the people group known as the Now Creep. And because they're supposed to be an indigenous group to the land of Tom Rain, I did a lot of research into different indigenous backgrounds, anywhere from the native tribes in the U.S. to the Sami and like looking into all these little things and realizing, oh, you know, it would be absolutely hilarious and would never happen in real life if they rode on elks. Because what would be more imposing and more terrifying than a man riding on an elk for a prisoner exchange? Because everybody rides on horses.
Yeah, I don't think that most people realize just how large elk can get.
Elk are
Yes.
huge.
Yes.
Elk are terrifying. They're more terrifying than I would even say like bison are
Mm-hmm.
or moose. And they may look like Bambi, but they are not friends like Bambi.
No. Yes, I can imagine grinning so big. Just you're like, yeah, I'm going to put him on an elk. This is going to be fantastic.
Yes.
Awesome. Okay. So that's your favorite part of writing. What is your least favorite part of writing?
Marketing.
Yes.
All
And
day long. I think any of us can agree on that. If I could pay
mhm,
somebody else to do it for me, I would, but I'm not even out of the red yet, so I can't pay
mhm.
anybody to do anything.
Same, same. Yeah, it's pretty rare that we have an author say anything other than marketing, which is honestly one of the reasons why we do this show. I was like, how can we help authors get more light on their books,
Yeah.
on what's going on? How do we get this to happen? So I was like, let's do a show. This will be fun. So, and now we're in our season. Sorry. And now we're in our sixth season. So
Nice.
it's coming along well.
Yeah, I'm happy to be here for it.
Yes. Yes. I really hope it makes a difference for people, you know. All right. So, yes, Lay's favorite part of writing is definitely marketing, trying to find your audience, trying to avoid the scammers and the sharks in the water who are there to take your money and not get you anything. And then there's like the gray areas of paying for reviews, which is not good. You should not do that ever. But
No,
the
that's
siren
illegal.
call, like of just trying to do anything to get your books out there, to
Yep.
um, yes. There's PR agents and marketer. Yes, there's so much going on, and it's really hard to know who or what's going to help.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, I would say as an author, find as far as marketing goes, because it is so hard for us. We just want to sit in our log cabins if we
Mm-hmm.
can even afford one. But, I idyllically sit by our log cabins up by whatever brand of nature is perfect for you
Mm-hmm.
and just type away while the rest of the world is shut out. That's fantastic. That's the dream. However, when it comes to marketing, you've got to do something that A, feels natural to you,
Mm-hmm.
B, is going to get people to really look at you and be like, hey, I think I might um, I might want to look into this person. I might, find something about this person that really clicks with me
Mm-hmm.
and then sell them on the books. Find some way to like really resonate with somebody else out there. Be
Mm-hmm.
very much, I am A, B, and C, and I'm anti A, B, and C, and go from there. It's so freaking hard. You just gotta suck it up and do it.
We gotta suck it up and do it. Absolutely. Yes. Find something that works for you. And then I like to study people who are doing well and try to be like, okay, what are they doing? And how do I do that in my own way?
Yeah,
Yeah, it takes time and energy, and gosh, we're tired.
so much.
Yes. All right. Do you have any other influences to your writing? You brought up mythology and history and mafias, um, and Douglas Adams.
Yeah.
Is there anything else?
I would say one of the biggest things that inspires me with my writing would be, um, other than my own insane imagination, uh, Dungeons and Dragons would actually be a really big one because I love how chaotic it can get. I love how you have to all work together in order to make the story go forward.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, and half the time I'm on the dungeon master, the DMing side of things, so I'm usually behind the scenes, setting up all the monsters, setting up all these different plot points, guiding the characters to it, going, okay, how can I move this into writing a book?
Mm-hmm.
And also just taking inspiration from the people around me. Like my partner, he's inspired one of the most interesting characters of my upcoming book, Whiskey and Lies. He's inspired a lot of different characters, which has been really fun. Um, Finding different people around the world who just like help you reach that itch, reach that I could do something with this.
Mm-hmm.
Just yeah, it's just fun pulling things out from what you know and weaving it into a tapestry of lore.
Yes. Yes. I completely agree with all fronts. The people around you. Absolutely D&D. I was kind of giggling a little bit because my trilogy is very, very D&D coded.
Yeah.
That's the fantasy I write is as D&D style. At my table, I usually have like a bowl of dice, and I'm like, anyone who comes and starts playing with the dice, those are my people. So I'm like, oh, you like dice? You're going to like these books.
You know what? I might just steal that for future events.
Absolutely, steal that, use that, become a bestseller, please. But yeah, trying to describe D&D games to someone who doesn't play D&D, it's just it's insane.
It is.
They're like, and you did what? You're like, hey, it worked, okay? We made it through. Almost nobody died. It was fine.
Hey, if almost nobody died, that is a success.
That's a successful game, yeah.
Oh goodness.
But yeah,
Yeah, no.
I also play. So, all right. Do you ever? Sorry, I'm still giggling about D&D stories.
Oh no, it's all good.
All right. Do you ever suffer from writer's block, and how do you overcome it?
Yes, immensely so.
Mhm.
It is one of my worst enemies, and I wish it would materialize so I can punch it in the face.
Yeah.
Writer's block, I usually deal with by kind of going back to basics, if you will. For every project, I always create a playlist. So I'll go back to that. I'll go back to the Pinterest board of ideas.
Hmm.
I'll go back to, honestly, switching gears to another project. So if I'm in the middle of like edits
Hmm.
on one thing and writing on another, I'll
Yeah.
work on edits until something comes to me for
Hmm.
for the work in progress for the first draft, and I'll just go back and forth until I can make it through both of them.
Mm-hmm. It's a really good method, actually. It's just switching gears and letting, like, stop pecking at it. Let it settle for a bit. Give it
Yeah.
some time to breathe and go do something else because progress is progress.
And in all honesty, some of the best times you'll get to things is by doing something mundane and repetitive, like just
Mm-hmm.
taking a drive or doing the dishes and the laundry that you know you have piled up and you just needed to get to them.
Because your hands are busy, but your mind is free. It's
Exactly.
so repetitive that you don't have to think about it. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yes, and as parents, we spend a lot of time doing those mundane things.
Oh yeah.
So, and I kind of count that towards my writing time. I'm like, did I get any words done? No, but did I think of several plot points and write them down in my notebook before they disappeared? Yes, and that counts.
Hey, good on you for actually writing them down. I forget it half the time.
Oh, I have to write them down or I forget them. I have like the most goldfish memory. Um, so no, I will put them in my phone. If I'm driving, sometimes I'll turn on my camera to like video and I'll just talk at
Mhm.
the camera so I can listen to myself later. Or because I used to do speech to text, but my
Yep.
text would be like a mishmash of words that didn't make sense. So I was like, well, this isn't working very well. So the video thing is a bit new, as long as it doesn't distract you from driving, obviously, because I feel like you can talk to the camera the way you might a friend in the seat. And as long as you're not looking at yourself,
Yeah.
that's really helped. Just bouncing ideas off myself out loud. But yeah, phone notes, anything you can do. I carry around a notebook everywhere when I'm out and about. Just scribble down those ideas, capture it while you still have it in your head. Because
Absolutely.
yeah, when you have issues, you find coping mechanisms. All right. Yeah, writer's block is not fun.
No, it is not.
All right. What would you say has been your most significant writing victory so far?
Oh man. I would say getting 2 books published, especially in under a year of being published, because I published back in actually this month last year, August 22nd, I published my first book. And then I published again April, actually, it might have been April 22nd. I think it might have been exactly that.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, just getting, 2 books written and fully edited and everything within 1 year of each other, I
That,
think is one of
yeah,
my,
that's an accomplishment.
yeah, it's a
Rapid
big
release is
accomplishment.
crazy hard. I
Yeah,
mean, a year, a book in a year is already considered very, very fast. 2, that's amazing. And then there's these other crazy writers who are doing 3 or 4 or 5 in a year. And I'm like, how? Um, how do you do
yeah,
that? But that's okay because we shouldn't compare ourselves to others. We got to do what we can and do the best books that we can in the time that we have to write with. So
exactly. I
I
mean,
like to have aspirations.
it's important not to look at people as competition,
Yeah.
especially when we're looking at what our achievements are and where we feel like we measure up. Don't, especially because it is a marathon, don't look at how others are doing. Look
Hmm.
at yourself, look at your own records, and then look to break that.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, I mean, I'm planning on breaking that and doing a really, really dumb thing
Hmm.
and rapid releasing the next 2 books for both series at the end and beginning of next year. Well, at the end of this year and beginning of next year. So
All right. Well, send us an email when you do, and we'll put you up on the page.
fantastic.
Yes. All
Yeah.
right. Have you ever been given writing advice that you hate?
Yes, many
Mhm.
times. Um, the biggest advice I've ever gotten that I've said no, F you to, has been keep writing no matter what, don't take breaks.
Mm, that does not work for everybody.
And
People, actually, I would venture to say.
yeah, that's not like, I get it to a degree
Hmm.
because they want you to write out one thing at a time. They want you to focus on one thing at a time and just like get that out as soon as possible. And that's fantastic for some people,
For some people, yeah.
but not everything is going to work for everybody.
Hmm.
I'm a dad. I am disabled and I can't hold a typical job. It takes a lot of energy to do a lot of regular stuff. That'd be easy for a lot of other people. I got to do things at my pace. You got to do things at your pace.
Hmm. Yeah, absolutely. I think any advice that goes like, this is the way, this is the one way, and this is how you
Yeah.
have to do it. Any advice like that, like, no, there's as many different ways to write as there are writers. And what you have to do is figure out your own circumstances, your own needs, your own brain, and
Yeah.
what works with that. The only thing I think we can agree on is that you actually at some point have to sit down and write words.
Yes.
The books
You
really do
absolutely
not
can.
write themselves.
That brings me to my favorite piece of writing advice.
Yeah.
You cannot edit a blank page.
Yep. You cannot.
You gotta at least get something down. I don't care if it's absolute crap.
Hmm.
You could have 300 words of crap, but that is 300 more than you had before.
Yes. Yes. Something that took a little while for me to understand about myself because I would get stuck. I'm like, I don't know where my character should go. What I had to do was write it the wrong way. I had to write it the wrong way and go, you know what? This doesn't feel right. And I would backtrack to where it did feel right. And I'd write it a different way and explore, oh, what would happen if they did this instead? Like, no, that's closer, but it's not right. And then I would go back and write it a different way. And it's painful to have those words be lost. You know, you're writing 15 pages of content. And at the end, when you finally find it, you're like, there it is. I found it. But you have to allow yourself to do it wrong sometimes, just so
You
that you know
do.
that you finally found the right way.
You absolutely do. I mean, that's part of the whole discovery, whether you're a plotter or you're a pantser or
Mhm.
whatever. You you gotta explore every path until you figure it out for yourself.
Mhm. And then you might relate to this, but sometimes I come up against an issue or I'm reading along and I'm like, magic exists. Exists. I forgot that magic is a thing. I got it. Magic
Yeah.
can actually solve this. They would find a magical way to solve this. You know, they have
Yeah.
this wand that you put in the beginning that has to be used at some point. Again, thank you so much for being agreeing to this interview. It was really nice to get to know you. Can you show the screen like your book covers, like really up close, and tell us about where people can find you on social media?
So you can find me at James Stadig
Mm-hmm.
uh, on just about any platform. I have my two books out currently of Rebels and Gods and Something is Wrong with East Thomas. And I have a couple of books coming out later this year and early next year as well. You'll be able to find me at Booked Eau Claire in Eau Claire, Wisconsin this fall, September. And you'll be able to find me in um, the fall book fair that Frankie's is putting on in Thanesville, Wisconsin as well.
All right. All right. You have a website?
I do, jamesstadig.com.
All right. Easy. You make it easy for people to find you, and that's good. All
Try
right.
my best.
Okay. Well, thanks again. And thank you to all the listeners at home. And we will be posting again on Friday. Thanks for listening and join us again next time when we welcome our next guest. And remember, there's always more than one way up a mountain. To be on our show, find us on social media at The Tell Not Show or email us at thetellnotShow@gmail.com. Thanks. All right. And end recording.
Thanks again for listening. If you enjoyed the show, consider subscribing and liking. We appreciate all the support. Julia J.K. Allen is an author, editor, and coach and can be found at hijinksrudder.com.
Kirsha Fox is an author, avid reader, gamer, and mother to four, and you can find her at kirshafox.com. Thanks and see you next time.